Everyone, and welcome back to TXR. Yes, I said it. We're back. An awesome place to kick back, relax, and listen to in-depth gaming discussions. This is your host, Invader, and I got to tell you, it's exciting to be back. After a summer hiatus, the crew is back and ready to talk games. There's also all kinds of news to talk about, but first we have some announcements. We have two gamers that will be joining us, and they will be full-time panel members. You may recognize them from different interactions on social media. Joining us is, first up, Centurion. Centurion, glad to have you on board. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing awesome, and I am excited to be here. I felt honored and blessed that you would ask me to be part of this panel. Everybody on this panel is an amazing part of this community, and I am totally excited to be here just chatting it up with you guys.
Of course. Well, hey, we're happy to have you on board. We really value your thoughts and analysis and opinions, and we're just happy to have you on board. And also joining us is our friend and former guest. You may know him by this name, Easy Shock, Eric Shockley. Mr. Shock, happy to have you on board. How have you been, bud? Well,
he came off mute.
Pretty good. Sorry, my
There he
mic
is.
was muted.
No problem.
I've been there.
No problem, bud. Thanks for coming on, Shock. You're a great voice in the gaming community. We appreciate having your opinion, and yeah, we're just excited to have you on. Now on to the rest of the panel's intros. Tim Dog, how's your summer been, my friend?
Been very busy. Good summer. Just been very busy. I've been working the last 16 days in a row, I believe. Taking my first day off is going to be Gears, September 6th. So I'm very happy to be here. Very, happy to have Shock and Centurion come down and be permanent members. Both great guys in the community, very, knowledgeable and know their stuff. Just happy to be here, and every Sunday night we'll be chatting it up. We got a lot to talk about today, and we're going to be hitting it good.
Absolutely, you got that right, Tim. Megatron, I'm happy to see you back, my friend. How have you been?
I have been good, busy but good. Busy summer, but again, like Tim said, just happy to be back, welcoming Centurion and Shocky to the show, and yeah, good times, man. Let's go.
Absolutely. We're still waiting for our friend Southbound to pop back in. Yes, Southbound will be back. And but you know what? We're going to go on to the topics, get right into this. And I'm sure we have a lot to talk about. And going on to, well, you know what? It's September 1st, and we're getting just a slew of games, as everybody knows. This past week, we've had games like Control from Remedy, Blair Witch, The Dark Pictures, Man of Medan. There's been a few Nintendo Switch games like Platinum's new Astral Chain. And of course, next week we'll be getting Gears 5, which everybody's pretty pumped for. So it's already looking like a packed few weeks just right off the bat. Panel with all the new releases. What really catches your eye? What do you plan on playing and picking up? And, I'll start with Tim. Tim, what are you planning on picking up, or what are you playing right now?
Well, I've been working a lot, so honestly, I've been playing Gears Pop on mobile. But other than that, I bought a ton of games. I bought Man of Medan. I bought Wreckfest. I bought Control. And definitely looking forward. I have the day off, so I'm going to probably, at 12 o'clock, September 6th, be, trying to pull an all-nighter, play, a couple hours, 3-4 hours of Gears, the campaign. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, this is a good time. Yeah, we can hear you. But there was, a long stretch of not so many games that came out, maybe Madden here and there, but it was a big week. Astral Chain looks very good for the Switch. So it's a great time to be a gamer, and going to be catching up on all these games soon. Just like I said, I've been working, but yeah, I'm really excited about Gears 5. We'll talk about it more in the show, but I'm hearing very good things.
You got to work, man, with all those games you're buying. You got so what you got the which one did you get? The Wreckfest?
I got Wreckfest.
Did you try that one? Mm-hmm.
I got Wreckfest, got Control, I got Man of Medan.
And you got Gears coming, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I had to say it. I didn't buy Gears. I have it on the Ultimate Edition, but I will definitely buy it down the line using the Game Pass thing. But yeah, those are all good games that I think that yes, can hear you. But I'm looking forward to enjoying all these games. It's a good time.
Of course. Yeah, you listed off even some games that I missed, like Wreckfest and a few others. Like, there's a lot of stuff to play right now that just like popping out of nowhere. Centurion, what have you been playing recently, or what do you plan on picking up?
I do want to try out Man of Medan. I am currently playing Control. And obviously I'm going to get Gears. I've even got the Gears console. I got to pick that up Thursday night when GameStop lets it out early. But yeah, there's actually a lot of games coming out. We're getting into the beginning of the fall season for gaming, and it looks like it's just going to be one hit after another. I'm hoping I could keep up. I even pre-ordered Borderlands 3. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, no, I totally forgot about the Gears console. You know what? I was at Fan Expo in Toronto a week or so ago, and I saw that sucker up close. It's really sharp, especially with that controller. I didn't think much of it at first, but man, it's I like it. It looks pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, Centurion's gone. Eric, what have you been playing recently? What do you plan on picking up as far as like this slew of new game releases? Do any of them catch your eye?
Probably Gears or Outer Worlds coming up. Those are probably the next two I'm looking at.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the Outer Worlds is definitely on my list, but I tell you, I've been like myself. I played the first few hours of Blair Witch, for example. Oh man, I am really engrossed in that game. I didn't really think of it much at first, but I'm just really. I'm really interested in it. It's really spooky, and I'm really digging like finding out about the characters, and even the dog's kind of cool. It actually acts like a dog, and hey, I got to play for free on Game Pass. So hey, that's always a win, right?
Awesome, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Megatron. Have you been? What interests you? Anything in particular?
Yeah, definitely. So I picked up Man of Medan actually just about a half hour ago before we started the show, and then Gears 5 is to me like the biggest thing. I've been getting so pumped, listening to Jez on Twitter, and his upcoming review. I'm looking forward to that, and then Tim doing his thing, of course. And Gears, it's all about Gears for me. Once that game comes out, my console is gonna turn into a Gears console. Actually, I have the console on pre-order and the Lancer and the collector's edition, like everything. Like,
oh my gosh,
yeah, it's that serious. I can't wait. And then there's Astral Chain, which I'm gonna pick that up eventually. Astral Chain, I've been seeing Cognito playing that a lot, and but it's all about Gears, man. It's just it's gonna consume most of September. There's the Destiny DLC is coming up, I think, in another week or so. What is that? I do have that. I'm supposed to be playing it, but like, it's gonna be tough with my time that I put in at work. It's gonna be all about Gears, man. I can't say it enough. Like,
you need this xCloud.
You see the pictures and everything that they're showing, little, tidbits of gameplay that they're still kind of like trying to, keep it bay, but it's Gears, man. Gears 5. I want to see where the story is going to go, the campaign. I know what to expect from the multiplayer, but like, Gears for me. It's going to be, I got to develop this call for the release date. I'm planning to be sick, and I got the hives and whatever I can look up in the journal of
Mhm.
whatever find what kind of illness that I'm going to catch that day. I'm not going to work. It's going to be about to do it, though.
Yeah. Gears, you know what? Gears looks really good. I had the opportunity to play it at Fan Expo again, like a little while ago. Well, I played the escape mode, and I'll admit I wasn't all that huge on it. I mean, the game looks great. Some of the weapons are pretty neat. But I didn't really. I played a few rounds of it. I wasn't really jiving with me. But when I saw the new campaign footage, like over the past couple of days that they've been pumping out, it's really getting me excited. And I have it preloaded, ready to go from Game Pass. And no, I'm excited to play, guys. I really am. It looks gorgeous, and I'm really excited to see what all the new stuff that they've added in. And yeah, hopefully it's refreshing.
What was the shot at the clips I'm seeing there? They're shooting the ice, right? Like, I'll just say this one because everyone's seen it for the most part, and the ice is kind of like forming back. To me, that's just that whole backdrop and everything. It's just that alone wants me to pay. I mean, maybe it's corny, but like, I just cannot wait to get my hands on this damn game and see what the campaign's about. Like, I cannot wait.
I've talked to several people who are playing the campaign as we speak. Some pretty far in, and pretty much everyone that I've spoken to extremely impressed, saying that it's visually it's amazing. 4K 60. There are a little bit of frame drops here and there when it gets hectic, but overall the presentation is very solid. They say it's the real deal. Like, basically, this looks like this could be a 90 Metacritic or around there type game that Xbox has been lacking all gen. And I think that other than Forza Horizons and the racing games, which always score well, this is the big shooter that Xbox. It's pushing them back to their old roots. This is a game that was a big franchise that when Gears 4 came out, like I was saying pre-show, the hype wasn't around it. The game didn't sell as well as I'm sure that they wanted to sell better. It still sold well, but it really feels like it's a return to the form. And everyone I've spoken to, it's been several people, like, they're really impressed. Like, it is like, not like little complaints here and there. It's like, oh my God, you have to see this, Tim. This is this is really amazing. There's just so much stuff to do. It's unlike any other Gears game. It's not linear. It's as we know, it's semi-open world. There's spots that you can venture to, and it seems like they dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, and they got it all. And this is what I've been saying, and a lot of other people in the community have been saying. If you look at what Rod did from 2014 when he established the franchise that he was going to take it over, he made a game, an engine. And did a pretty good job. Did a pretty good job for the time allotted in 2 years. And Gears 4 came out. Now he's dealing with about 100 more devs, more time, an already established engine that they're building on, that they've built on since 2014. Unreal Engine 4. It is everything that you would think that it should be with Rod, and I think that he's him and the studio is going to get the recognition that they really deserve. I really feel that this game is going to be critically acclaimed, and I think it's going to sell well. I think that it's a smart move to put it on Steam, so you don't have any problems. The PC support, from what I've heard, is fantastic. It has Dolby Atmos, 4K 60 on the X. 60 hertz servers, dedicated servers. This is the real deal. And
damn it, put Tim in the game.
No,
give that man a chainsaw. He's got me so excited. I'm already a huge game, a huge Gears fan. But damn it, put that guy. Rod, put us in the movie too, by the way.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be too long-winded here, but somebody called me today and they were like, "Oh man, Tim, it fell off." it was bad. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I got to Act 3 and it fell off, and it was just been really disappointing. I'm like, tell me you're kidding. He's like, yeah, I'm kidding. It's amazing.
Oh.
He's like, it's amazing. So I really think that we're in for a treat, and good for the Xbox fans that kind of stayed true, and weren't flip flopping all over the place. I remember guys saying that they were the number one Gears fan and tweeting, and now we're not even talking about the game. You can't make these guys up. But other than that, it's we're in for a treat. So can't wait.
Are you willing to give your Metacritic score prediction, or is that going to be
I'm at a 90. I'm a straight 90. I do think it has a potential to be a tick higher or a tick lower. I'm sure that you'll get as one person said, it should be a 90 Metacritic, but with the Xbox hate, you never know. So it might be ticked down a little. So we shall see. But I think regardless, it's going to be critically acclaimed.
There's no science behind my score. I'm going to just say straight up 94, just because.
Oh, wow.
Because what Rod is doing, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what Tim Dog is saying, 94. Damn it, let's go.
All right. Well, since you guys are chiming in on Metacritic, I don't usually do it, but what the heck, why not? I tend to always go a little lower with my expectations. I'll just, and this is across the board, I will say 85. I will say 85, which, hey, that's still pretty high for me. That's still pretty, that's a good in my book.
I think it'll be higher than 85 in my opinion.
Well, that's totally, I understand. Centurion, while we're throwing out numbers here, what's your thought on this? What Metacritic wise?
Well, wasn't Gears 4 like an 84?
Yes.
I'm probably wanting to lean more towards like an 89 or a 90. I'm just really hoping that the gaming media is extremely receptive and doesn't want to kind of perpetuate what seems to be very common towards the Xbox brand. And I'm not trying to sound like one of these crazies with a tinfoil hat on, but no, I'm definitely very excited. As soon as I saw the campaign footage, everything was validated for me. But to point out that I was never worried in the first place, because I already knew they were cooking up something pretty good. I even did a video on it about what I thought the campaign was going to be. I was a little wrong, but at the same time, I thought Kate was going to be like having that choice of either becoming the hero or the protagonist. But as soon as she got on that helicopter and, you see Marcus asked, did you find what you're looking for? I did. And now we got to kill it. I was like, yep, she ain't going to be the protagonist. But yeah, that video got me totally pumped. Even more. I will definitely say I feel more hyped for this game than Gears 4. And there is a lot more buzz, like what Tim Dog was saying in the pre-chat, or the pre-show. There is more buzz for this game now than there was for Gears 4. And that was probably, as like what Tim Dog said, in part was Rod Ferguson wanting to just dial it back and not basically give everybody what they wanted. I even said earlier, if I was Rod Ferguson, when I was seeing how some of these people were reacting, saying that, oh, you can beat Gears 4 in like Gears 5 in 4 to 6 hours. It's just regular old Gears. It's nothing. It was a never was, this, that, and the other. If I was Rod Ferguson, yeah, I'd be like, I'm not going to show them anything, because all they can seem to do is like try to tear down the game that they don't know nothing about.
Never fails, man. And for the record, I'm not a Metacritic guy. If I like something and it's interesting to me, I'll just simply play it, and that's just the way I am. I mean, I just don't care. Just for the shits and giggles, I just brought up Metacritic. So it's for me personally, it's a gamer. Doesn't really matter. I see it. I play Pac-Man and pinball for hours and hours and hours. And that's 2019, 20, and I'll still be playing those games. So,
well, rest assured, September 4th, when the embargo lifts, I think it's 6 a.m. You will have a lot of people tuned in. I mean, the developers themselves look to Metacritic as they look at it overall. 90 is like the gold standard. If you get above 90 or 90, it's considered critically acclaimed hit. Obviously, if it's 88, 89, there's a little leeway there too, but it's always nice to tick on the 90. But yeah, it is something that the industry is about. It's like somebody said, "Oh, Tim, now you care about review scores." I'm like, bro, I've been doing review scores since System Wars in 2007. You're talking about 12 years of talking about reviews and stuff. It definitely matters. Metacritic matters. Doesn't matter to possibly the gamer, but in the industry, it is big. There's sometimes
it's the industry credit score.
Yeah, it is the industry credit score, and they go by it. Sometimes there is stipulations in contracts. If you score so and so this, you'll get a bonus here. I think that was I heard a rumor that was a part of Destiny 2, that they had to score a certain amount.
I heard that as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the things that you hear. It's a big thing in the industry, and most of all, like I said, I think that what Xbox fans and what Xbox in general, and even Phil, and everyone, they kind of got to get somewhere where they get something where they deserve recognition. And people say, they've seen it, Nintendo get their recognition. Obviously, they've seen Sony get their recognition over and over and over. They really haven't had that moment. And this very well might be their moment where people say, you know what, Xbox doesn't suck. This is an awesome game. And you know what? Look at this game. Wow. And that's it. And that supersedes everything. And in video games, if you deliver that type of experience and it's head above shoulders and there's nothing you could say, you will get the naysayers to shut up and you will get people to recognize it. And I'm just hoping that's the case here.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really excited. Again, guys, I'm not huge on Metacritic. I just kind of go by what I see, and if I like it, well, I'll go with that. Sometimes it's on the lower end of the Metacritic in the long run. Sometimes it's on the high end. I like what I see, what I hear, and opinions. So I just go with that. Gut intuition in a lot of ways. Shock, since we're playing this game, do you have a Metacritic score in mind? What are you kind of eyeballing for it?
Yeah, I'm looking at probably a 92, which Kofi, I think he's asked Metacritic scores multiple times, so I think I've said 92 and stayed true to that. And it's funny each time people put laughing posts out of me. And one that I go back and forth with and have fun with is Bad Hombre. I don't know if you've seen him. He gave me a GIF, or I think it was like a laughing photo with Tom Cruise, but it had Dante from Devil May Cry, which was funny because this week he made a post putting his prediction after that new footage, and now it says 93, and I'm like, so you're laughing at my 92, but now you're predicting 93. Okay.
Well,
I think a lot of you are going to be surprised. But.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this. Well, actually, there's a lot of games that I'm looking forward to, but I just can't believe that Gears is finally around the corner, and I'm really looking forward to it. Is there anything else you guys want to chime in on, or can we move on?
I just want the game to be good. The campaign. I know the expected multiplayer. Italian Clowns is saying he's thinking this may be an 87. Be safe out there, my friend. I know he's out there in Florida. And but yeah, I hope he has this. I hope everything's.
Make one little. Oh,
go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm done.
Oh no, I was gonna make one last thing of which I probably already chimed in earlier, but not on here. Everybody got really offended when I said wait, if Gears 4 was a 84, Killzone was a 73, Guerrilla's game, and then if this one ends up being over 90 plus above. Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm like, does that make? Are we sure Guerrilla's a better developer than the Coalition? And everybody got really offended by that. Like, you can't compare them. They're not the same game. I'm like, well, then how do you make Game of the Year contenders? How can you compare games? I know I'm not comparing the direct mechanics.
Well, I think Horizon was
from the studio.
Yeah, Horizon was
an 89.
89, yeah. Listen, I do think that both are high caliber studios, but again, this is going to be a feather in Xbox Game Studios hat. This is going to be a top quality developer. They're going to have probably 400 to 500 people on Gears 6. and it's with the way it's looking like this is going to go well. So this is a very good thing for Xbox and Xbox Game Studios. It's something that they kind of really needed, and by the looks of it, it's something that they kind of needed. We will know as we get closer to September 4th, and obviously when it releases September 6th on Ultimate. But yeah, this is they are a quality dev, and like I said, they have grown pretty much. Over 100, I think 100 when they first started at 200. Now they're at 350, I think.
Think about it. It's only their second game, and
yeah, they're growing.
Just look at that level from one game, the leap that they've made to.
And Rod's and Rod's known within the industry as somebody who
he's
delivers. He's very experienced. BioShock, he delivers, and he delivers on time. And I think this is going to be a defining moment for him. And a big spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting, guys, and we'll definitely have a lot more to talk about come next week. I would personally love to have a TXR like group party going on for Gears, whether it be Horde, multiplayer, or even campaign. I'm just excited, so it's going to be good, guys. It's going to be good. But moving on. Let's see. We got Games with Gold for September, and a few days ago, Xbox announced that the September Games with Gold are Hitman, the complete first season, as well as what else? And We Were Here. I believe it's some kind of a problem-solving game, puzzler. And the Xbox 360 games that we'll be getting are Earth Defense Force 2025 and Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Guys, how do you feel about this list? Is this month's offerings all right? Shock, how do you feel about this list? Do you think these games are okay?
I would say they're okay. They're kind of lacking, and only in the sense that they did give away a Tekken Tag tournament during an E3. I think when it was that year, they had the guy from the developer from Tekken be on stage, and they announced it that day. Hey, this game's free. Go download it. So I know they've already given that away, not with Games with Gold, but promotionally. So I think from that standpoint, since it's already a game that's already been given.
Some of that stuff, I think, is that they're catering to newer people too that are subscribing to Xbox who don't have the game yet. So I don't think it's a bad thing. So, but
well, don't they receive, like, the developers receive money still for the fact that these games are being downloaded for free in Games with Gold?
Like, don't they gotta
pay to have them put in gold? Because I'll at least look at it from my point of view. If I was a developer and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna release your game in Games with Gold, and you're gonna get paid based on how many times it's downloaded." First words out of my mouth will be like, "I don't want to be in September. Gears 5 is just gonna completely kill the competition." Nope. Everybody's gonna be on Gears 5. They're not even gonna be looking at Games with Gold because if you got Game Pass, it's almost like a second version of Games with Gold.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, the thing is, as Shock had noted, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, it was released as, I believe, a free E3 game a year or two ago, which was kind of nice. But we also have this puzzler, We Were Here. I don't know if anybody's interested in that. I kind of like games like that, to be honest. I kind of like screwing around with puzzles. The Earth Defense Force. I don't know what it is with Xbox the past couple of months. They've been giving away a lot of Earth Defense Force games. It seems like we're going to get the entire series come the Scarlet, honestly. And I'm not complaining. I like the Earth Defense Force games. It's just it seems to be like every couple of months we're getting that. And Hitman, haven't they given away Hitman before too? The first season, I'm pretty sure I downloaded that a few months back.
On Game Pass, it was.
I don't remember.
I don't even know if it was on Game Pass. It's just I'm pretty sure I remember it being just available for free because sometimes they have all this content available for free for a limited time. So, I'll be honest, judging from this list, it's not a terrible month, but I think they could have done a little better with the offerings, considering, they've given away Tekken away before, and obviously the first season of Hitman. We did just come from a really good month with Forza 6 and Gears 4. So it's hard to make up for that. Even, what was it, Castlevania as well? That was a really jam-packed month. And I'm still working my way through that, because that was a really good month that they had. So it's always this back and forth. But at the same time, that we're getting into the new game season, right? So not too many people I are going to be really playing these games, but it would have been nice if they gave us like some other options, is what I'm suggesting. Oh, well.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, it was an okay month. Like you said, the previous month was strong. At this point, I think that Games for Gold is becoming less and less relevant because of Game Pass. I think they're on a path that's going to take them to a point where they're gonna have to restructure this. Maybe make something free, or get this. Xbox Live seems redundant when you have Ultimate and you have all these things given out with what they're planning with Ultimate. I really believe that they should just make that. And I've talked to them, a few people at Xbox, to make it just where the Ultimate is the only thing that you can sign into. That's the service. And make multiplayer free. Have it opened up. I mean, at this point, if you don't have Ultimate, you're losing out. It's such a good deal, and they're going to add xCloud server to it, xCloud everything to it. So, or at least Game Pass xCloud. So it's going to be pretty crazy value for what you're getting. And at that point, it just becomes redundant. Like, instead of having Games for Gold, just instead of having that, just possibly just have the Ultimate, and then make the open up the online, open up the multiplayer, and I think that would be a real strong way of getting Xbox back to relevancy.
Yeah.
What about? I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was going to say, what about moving the free games to the Game Pass service? With Game Pass, you know how they have like all those different sections. You could have a section of games where download this game or download that game for free. Because like, look at her Forza 6. They gave that game away for free because it was going to be delisted. So it would be basically another incentive to have Game Pass.
Yeah, it's 100%. I do think they need to rework it, because you're going to have a service that's so exponentially great that then instead of having 3 services, you're going to have to do something, because I do feel like Xbox Game for Gold and Game Pass kind of compete against each other, and in a way I do believe that Game Pass does kind of take away some of the value, or some of the value you would have gotten if there wasn't a Game Pass. Meaning, if Witcher 3 is on the chopping block, well, not the chopping block, is to be selected. Game Pass is going to get that game before Games for Gold is, because Game Pass means more, and that's where I find that it kind of conflicts with each other, and that's where I find that Xbox kind of can rework it, where they can give more value, or just give this Ultimate for $14.99 a month with everything that's included with it, and then rework some things and rework some area, maybe open it up, because like I said, it's kind of like makes Xbox Live redundant, or it's just one of the pieces that's part of the Ultimate package that really you could just say, hey, get our engagement up, get everyone playing our games, let's just make it multiplayer free, because you're going to have a ton of people just subscribing to Ultimate because of what it offers, the value that it offers, and it just keeps getting better and better. And they're looking for it to be their Netflix of gaming, and it looks like it's going that way. It definitely is very popular, and it's getting more and more popular, recognized, and And the developers, there's been people said that it wasn't doing good, but the developers are happy. They're in there, and they're in there for a reason. Some of these games get double looks, three times the looks that they wouldn't have gotten if they weren't a part of it. So,
oh yeah, the guy from Descender said that it totally exceeded his expectations.
So it's something that they definitely have to look into. In my opinion, I would do the leave the multiplayer free, get rid of the Xbox Live Gold, and just make it one price, one service instead of three.
It's a great idea, Tim. Free multiplayer. That would mean to open the multiplayer up. That would be huge. That definitely would be huge. Yeah.
No, absolutely, guys. Actually, did any of you take advantage of the $1 Game Pass Ultimate offer?
I did.
I did.
Isn't I think there's a limit though, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm up to like 2022 or something, or 2021.
You can go. You can max out 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just such a good offer. Like I've been getting in on the PC stuff too, and it's amazing. Like just having I just really like what they're doing with the whole initiative. It's really bringing everything together, and it's really showcasing a lot of the games that they have in their stable, even on PC, even the RTS, and I'm just really enjoying that.
I think with mine, I already had a year of Game Pass, so for me to take advantage of it, I would have had to buy a whole another year of Game Pass to stack it, which is $120. Because if I would have just bought Live, it wouldn't have stacked because I didn't have any saved up for Live. So I was like, it doesn't really save me much to really try to take advantage of that deal.
What I don't know if you knew, what happened with my account is I had 6 months of Game Pass left over and 3 months of gold. And when I spent that $1, it basically gave me almost pretty much 12 months. Like it put all of them together. It stacked all of them together. And I got literally a year's worth of Game Pass and Xbox Live for $1.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, basically gave it for me until May of next year now. But
yeah,
I could do the whole
3
3-year stack to really make it worth it. But
Absolutely. Now, anybody in the chat, let us know how you feel about this September's games with gold, and what you think that Microsoft should do down the line. Should they combine it with Game Pass, or just get rid of it altogether? Just other options, because it seems to be getting the short end of the stick the past, recently anyways. But definitely let us know.
Can I add on to one thing what you're saying? I'm sorry to interrupt, but it was just, if they got rid of the free games right now and their competition was still giving out free games, that would just be another thing that people would just gravitate on. Like, they're already taking away the free games. Their services aren't worth it. I think that's one of the reasons why they're probably reluctant, and they're trying to at least put games in the service.
All right. Sounds pretty good. And the next time you interrupt me, Centurion, remember, I have the mute button. I have the power. Just kidding. But yeah. But sorry, go ahead, Megatron.
I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were.
Was it the can of this wine cooler that interrupted? I don't know if it was me or the one. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Oh, who do we have here? Strike Gaming here. Gold should be free since it's free on PC. You know what? That argument comes up a lot. And I totally understand that, because there is definitely a rift between the PC and the console.
Right.
So, you know what?
I think it just makes sense. It makes a ton of sense. And like I said, I have talked to people about this. This is not something that it's just going on deaf ears. It's something that's been put out there. There is shut that argument up. But again, they're looking to have engagement high. They're looking to have, they're talking about 2 billion gamers. You with kill a bird with two stones with this. Basically, you're going to get your engagement. It's going to go way up if you open up multiplayer for free. It's going to go up way up. You're also going to look like you're gonna look real good, and you're gonna get some really good media coverage about it. You're gonna look like the good guys. You're gonna take away the argument about PC and all that. And another thing is that you're also gonna be giving people the chance to really look at Ultimate in a way that they wouldn't have looked before, because everyone knows when they get Xbox, the first kind of service they look to is Xbox Live, because that gives them that opens it up. Imagine a world where you don't have to really even engage with that. You say, hey, we're ready to go, and this is our service, the ultimate premier service, and this is our Netflix, one service. You're going to get people to sign up for that. Yeah, you're going to get the random people to say, I'm not paying for online, but you know what? Your engagement's going to go up. And I think that they might take a hit for the first year, but overall they would, it'd be a very good thing for Xbox. And quite frankly, I think that's something that Xbox needs to do to really kind of get themselves back in the public eye and back to a point where they're looked at as a company with great respect. Because, as we know, Xbox has went through a lot this gen. This gen was horrific for them. Their brand took 3 steps back, and some people say it's not even recoverable. Obviously, we don't think that here, but the fact is that they should be doing better, and I think that they have to do something bold like that to kind of get them back in it. A bold move.
So you know what, Tim? Like you talk about opening things up, right? One of the topics we have on the list. I think we kind of skipping one. Maybe if Invader allows me, is plans for first party Xbox games to be on other platforms. You want to talk about opening things up. How do you? I mean, it doesn't. For me personally, it doesn't bother me if Ori goes to the Switch or goes to PlayStation. Like I don't know. It's just.
For me, I think they have to have some type of exclusivity, and I think that the recent comments by Booty and then double down by Greenberg, they are not making games to go on other systems. I do think that in the case with Sony, with Nintendo, with Ori, I do think that there was kind of a good relationship that they had with Reggie, and they just wanted to get the series out there more, and Cuphead, this and that. They made sense. But they definitely have to. They definitely have to have some sort of exclusivity or a reason to look at the platform.
I think the service itself, you provide a service like Xbox Ultimate. That's what you're competing, and then the studios that you actually have. You got all these studios acquisitions, and then it's going to be out content. I mean, you look at what Focus Home Interactive is doing. That publisher. You look what Sony's doing with their acquisitions. Yeah, and of course Microsoft. Nothing from Nintendo, which do they even need to be in that space? I think if you really want to open things up, maybe that's just the best way to go. It's just me off the top of my head. I'm just speaking. Just maybe that's the best way to go is to open things up. I mean, it's just if you want to play it on that per console, it's just you're still going to make your money off it. You just it's just Microsoft owns that studio, Sony owns that studio. Why not?
I think part of it is what you're saying is that if you do open it up and you're talking about being third party and stuff, one of the things that you'd probably have to do is you'd have to sign into Xbox Live. There's no way that they're gonna let their games go on another platform without you signing into. I mean, if they went that route, you would have to sign into Xbox Live. I do think that they have thought. I do think that they have thought about what you're talking about, and I do think that there was probably at one time a part of the conversation, but I do think that they do realize that you kind of have to have something that's in your, you have to have some type of exclusivity. They're stretching themselves thin with Play Anywhere. You get it on PC. I think for me personally, I just think that would be going too far left. I think that it wouldn't bode well as far as their engagement. I do think that most people would probably just say, yeah, why even get an Xbox? And people are doing that now when I can play their games wherever. I can now play it on PlayStation. Two, as I want to play the best games and they offer a console experience only on Xbox, like Gears and Halo, that I'm gonna play on just Gears and Halo, and I think that that's one way of them to keep some customers and to gain some customers. I do think that they need exclusivity, in my opinion, but I do think that they have had these conversations. But
it kind of makes sense. I mean, I guess then cross-play and cross-save would be a bigger thing, because that would allow you to sign in on either platform of your choice, service that you're using, whether it's Sony's, whatever they have, and then with enabling cross-play. I mean, yeah, now that I think about it, it would just, that would be that bridge.
Right,
so
well, I think that in 10 years, maybe that the marketplace would be more receptive. But I think right now, I think if the writing's on the wall, if they went third party and they had Scarlet, I do think that would cannibalize sales too much, to the point where, they just might just become a third party and just be a Game Pass and just never have a console again, which I don't think that any of us want. I think that when I say open it up and open it up with multiplayer, I think that I just think that they need something, because I think that they're so behind in mindshare at this moment. Like, I hear 31,000 Xbox One sold in August. Comparatively, it's getting sold it just in NPD and by 4 times with Sony and more with Nintendo. That's winning. That's showing that your brand is really suffering. And they obviously have next gen and they're going to have games, but they need something to kind of jumpstart them. And I do believe that if they had a focused Xbox Ultimate as their only service, and it tied into xCloud, and they kind of gave people the option to play online for free, I do think that would really jumpstart them. That's just my opinion. Like I said, I've had conversations with people at Xbox with in regards to it, and they are always listening, and they're not somebody that's just going to I think that they're in the process of talking about this all themselves, the stuff that you've talked about, that you just brought up, stuff that I've brought up, or just the way they're going to handle it. Listen, you're going to have xCloud, you're going to have Xbox Live Gold, you're going to have Xbox Cloud off of servers, and now you're going to have Xbox Game Pass and Xbox PC Game Pass, Xbox Ultimate. It is something that, they have to come up with a way to make it all understandable and all feasible for just the everyday consumer, that that the mom and pop can come right into the store and say, hey, I could get this service and I could buy this and I'm in, and that's it.
It is nice that they finally make a statement now, though, because a lot of people were wondering, hey, Cuphead, like others were saying, and then you got Ori being announced. Okay, but they don't own Cuphead, but obviously they own Ori, and people are like, well, will something bigger go to other platforms, such as, I'll say Gears, for example. But it's nice that they reiterate this and make a statement, because people need to feel confident with their platform purchase going forward. And if they can just find it anywhere else, all these IPs that they own, then what's the point of buying an Xbox, right?
Gotcha.
So... yeah, no, so this is nice. I really like that they came out finally about this. Shock, how do you feel about this? Do you think this is a smart move by them to make a statement like this?
Shock is a busy man.
Yeah.
He's a busy man.
I thought you said something before that. I apologize. No, I think that's I think it's a good move there, and because people think that just because like some small indie games that weren't even from their technically first-party studios, like that they published on the Switch, means that, it's going to get Gears and Halo Infinite. Like, no, they're going to keep the AAA big bangers that people actually, that the casuals know, because a lot of the casuals don't know of like Cuphead and things like that. So those weren't going to be big system sellers. If they lose them to the Switch, did that really sway millions of customers? Like, probably not.
It's also for the studio. So, but
yeah, but I think it'll still keep those somewhat exclusive at least if they do put them on the Switch, it'll probably be more with the X Cloud, because at that point that's just another mobile tablet. So what's the difference? But I do think they'll draw the line with PlayStation, because PC is a different platform, different type of gamer. Same thing with Switch. That's more on that mobile side. They're going to keep that home console market because they're still they're going to pass the PS3 in North America sales, or North American sales, most likely by the end of this gen. So I mean, they're still doing well in the biggest market, in the world. So I'm pretty sure they're still going to want all that money, all those subscriptions, and to put all your stuff on PlayStation through like Game Pass, if they ever allowed that, which I doubt, would just like kind of kill. There would be no reason. That's the too similar for you to just put all your games there. So you lose a lot of those people. Whereas I was already going to go to PC anyway because of the performance that I was seeing. So you're not really losing me. I was going to go there anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't think you're really losing too much.
And you need reasons. You need to be attracted to the console by the IP that they have. And then when I see games like, well, okay, again, they don't own Cuphead, but Ori, even games like that they had deals with, like Super Lucky's Tale, go to other platforms. It was just funny seeing it. I was just at Fan Expo, and they were showcasing one of the games that they were showcasing was Super Lucky's Tale, which makes sense. But a lot of people were saying, "Oh, I already have that for Xbox. I already played it for Xbox," and that was. I mean, it was a small game, but people remember it like that. People remember exclusives and reasons to buy for certain systems. So for their heavy bangers like Halo, Gears, hopefully we get Fable, or like Forza, they need to be in the Microsoft ecosystems. They need to be attracted to the Xbox. And I think that's smart that they come out with this statement now, because I think some people on the Xbox side were getting a little cautious and worried about what they were doing. So it's nice that they inform us about this. Chat, how do you
clear
feel?
message.
Yeah, they had to have done that, and I hope they do it more. I do think that within some of the ranks that they think, well, Twitter is, it's just, it's only a loud majority, a loud minority. It doesn't really reflect the people that play FIFA and all the games, Fortnite, the millions of kids, and all the players that are playing that. But the thing is that when you have uncertainty and people are harping on it, and people continually push these, these fear-mongering, tactics that it's all good, you're buying something worthless, ha ha ha, and you keep constantly seeing that, and then you don't answer it, it starts to affect. It starts to take a toll, and I'm happy that they announced it. That that they doubled down on it and they said it, because obviously that went through. Like they have to start doing that, and people like Mike Ybarra and certain other people, I really think get it. Like I think that guys like him should speak up more and address some of these things that go rampant within Twitter and stuff like that. You can't turn a blind eye to it, because it's like anybody disparaging your business or saying, baking up things. It's going to take a toll. If you don't address it, people are going to just think it's true, and that's the sad thing. So they can't not say anything, but they have to be concise about it. They have to speak to the people, and they have to be like, this is what it is. End of story. No more. There's no leeway. What happened was you had the statement that came out from Booty, and then 3 days later you had a statement came from the Game Pass that the eventual goal is to have all their games on all the platforms. And what that person really was talking about was xCloud and Game Pass, but it kind of got muffled, and I don't think that he really. What he took was taken out of context, and people said, look, you have one person saying this and that."
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're dealing with xCloud and you're dealing with a service like that, that's a completely different thing than Xbox saying, "Hey, we're making a game for Xbox, but we're also going to port it and have it ready day one, day and date on Sony PlayStation and Nintendo. That that is something that was pushed out there. That needs to be addressed because, like you say, if you have uncertainty in your ecosystem, people are just going to just bail out and say, you know what, I'm going with the one that's going to have all the games and have your games too. And again, Microsoft has to be. They have to be more cognizant of what's going on. They cannot let this stuff go, because you look at 31,000 units sold. That's very bad. That's they're in the the Wii U territory right now. I mean, they're a little bit above that, but that's how detrimental how much this brand has went down since 2013.
Hey, I mean, at least Xbox is still rolling with the Xbox One, the Wii U. I mean, Nintendo wanted to get that way out of the way within a few years, and then the Switch came along. The Wii U years were pretty bad. So.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit above that, but the fact is that it just goes to show you that you can have a company that was once highly acclaimed and everyone loved them, and then they had this console and it was not recognized. It was kind of misrepresented. The name was bad. It had all the problems that like kind of Xbox One had, and it did it in, and they just gave up, like you said. At least Microsoft, even though I do feel like they've given up on this gen in a way, and they're really full force ahead for next gen. The thing is that they have to get this, all the messaging and all this stuff, they have to get it under control. If that can't be done, this is all fruitless. You can have the best of everything. If you cannot get your statements out there and your pitch, and you can't get it out there, and it's all convoluted and it's getting ripped apart, it's going to take effect. So it really is, it's go time for them. They cannot have these mistakes, and they have to really attack these things that come up and disparage their brand. They have to be active in it. They have to have guys like Mike get right up on it on Twitter and say, no, that's not the way it is. No, we're not doing that. Stop. We're going to do this. Or our plan is this. And then be done with it. Like, none of this, up in the air and then just get ripped apart.
Shizno Ali in the chat had made an interesting point. To me, it's no different than when Nier came to Xbox. Same for Hellblade; those were exclusive for a short time. You are right. They did eventually come, but Sony didn't own Hellblade or Nier Automata. Xbox, as far as I know, they own Ori and the Blind Forest. That IP. Is that correct, fellas?
I don't know.
I think they own the IP, but I don't think they own the studio. But I could be
no,
wrong.
not the studio,
No, they
but
own the studio.
actual.
No, that's a very good question. Who owns Ori?
Because I'm pretty sure they own the IP.
I don't know if they are you sure Moon Studio doesn't own the IP?
Oh well,
then maybe they own
I
the
could be
publishing
mistaken. I could totally be mistaken on that. I could have
That's a good
sworn.
question. I'm going to put it up right now.
But no, he makes a very good point there, because when games like Nier come or Hellblade, they were exclusive for a short time. But I guess the thing is, it's all about Xbox exclusives just kind of staying exclusive. I mean, Sony didn't own those at any point. Those were just deals. But I mean, it's just a matter of if the big games like Gears or Forza start going other places, will there be a reason for anybody to own an Xbox? That's just what this. So it's kind of nice that they come out with these statements saying, no, the big games and all our other IPs will stay. So it's just kind of nice that way.
Got you.
But yes. Thank you for that question, Shizno. But moving forward, guys, we got all kinds of topics lined up. We're going to move on. And recently, Xbox Games marketing manager Aaron Greenberg gave some teases of what to expect for the upcoming XO19 in London, confirming the most significant episode of Inside Xbox, never before seen games, and of course, surprises. And apparently Age of Empires 4 seems likely to make a show there. And there's lots of speculation going around that we'll see Fable finally peek from the shadows. Fellas, what do you think about this? Do you think we'll see a new Fable announced at this event? Or is it something that they would save for E3? Megatron, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think we'll see like a big game like Fable announced at this, or something smaller?
A game like Fable would be great. I don't know. I think that something like Fable though would be something that would announce at E3. Just my guess. But if they did announce it at XO, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be extremely happy. I've been a fan of the franchise. I played the first two. I really need to play the third one, but that'd be big. Other than that, I can only imagine what else they would have to announce. Maybe another studio acquisition. That'd be great. I'll start back from the last show and hope maybe they'll announce.
Well, the reason why people are suggesting Fable, or that's what the rumor mill's churning, is because it's set in London.
Okay,
and so in a lot of ways, it would make sense for maybe the more traditional like British studio, British IP to pop up like a Fable that everybody's been wanting this entire gen. So I can see why the rumor mills are churning there, but at the same time, would they save it for that show? Would they do a tease for it? Or would they save a banger like that for the big show, E3 with Scarlet?
A trailer with all they would need to probably show. I mean, do that, and then people are going to get hyped. So bring it, man, bring it. And then either if it comes out 2020, new console. Yeah, man. I don't. I think it'd be big.
Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, I don't think that they're gonna not waste it, but I don't think they're gonna use it. I do think you have an option that you could have Rare, or you could have Ninja Theory, those two games too, because they both come from the same area. But overall, I don't think that they can use Fable there. I think it'd be nice, but I think that they're going to save it. It's just too big to not use. I just think it's just too big to use it at something like that. They'd have to use it at E3.
I don't disagree, Tim. I think it'll be at E3. However, the Fable Legends, for example, it wasn't announced at E3. It was announced at Gamescom, if I'm not mistaken.
Would a remaster be big enough? I'd be hype off of that. Like if they remastered it. How long has it been? We've talked about this before. I can't remember what show it was, but how long has it been since a Fable game's been out? Like I would take a remaster. I'd be hyped over that. New fresh coat of paint.
They did do a Fable anniversary edition for the 360. When was it? It must have been in 2014, something like that. But maybe a Fable collection, all three, would be nice remastered.
That would be cool. That'd be cool with me. I'd pick it up, and then with followed by the announcement of something coming up, with Fable, with the combination of that.
I think you might get a studio. Club Rules teased about it, but I do think that you might get a studio. Booty's going to be there. They're going to have everyone there, so they might have some good stuff. If they announce Fable, I would be very surprised, but it would be a big deal. It would definitely knock. It would prop up XO to a different level. I just don't think that the show is at that level at this point. I do think Fable is. It's something you can close next year's E3 on. People want this game in the worst way. Everyone knows it's the worst kept secret in the industry. It's definitely coming. It's just a matter of time when they're going to announce it. And for me, I would just, if I was Xbox, I would, announce, show the game. Hopefully, it's a Rare game or something that's really cool. And get a studio in there, and say that you're got another studio under the thing, and then have a little bit of things here and there. I don't think that people should have expectations for XO to be that big of a show, in my opinion. A decent show, a good show, best inside Xbox of the year, but not up to E3 level, and that's even what Aaron said as well. Don't expect it to be that level.
Absolutely. I could see like a more Battletoads gameplay from Rare. Definitely stuff from Bleeding Edge, as you were saying, for a Ninja Theory or something new, a peek at something new. Maybe they have a smaller game that we don't know about. But yeah, for something like EXO, you never know. Honestly, it's kind of a wild card. I would expect, in my personal opinion, for it to be at E3, but maybe other people on the panel have a different opinion than that. A Centurion, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think we'll see something Fable related? Maybe a tease?
Well, let's see. I'm actually in agreement with you guys. Probably, definitely Bleeding Edge, something from Rare, possibly a studio announcement. If they want to go off the deep end and bring out Fable, at least if I was in the driver's seat over at Microsoft, let's look at it, like this. For starters, Fable is a game that is influenced very heavily by that part of the world. It would be very fitting to at least tease it over there, just to have like a small little just for it to, some kind of a screen just to come on that says Fable 4. That's it. Just to tease it and at least let people know that it's out there. And the only reason that I could think of why that would really kind of work for them is that's what everybody would be talking about going forward to E3 next year, because at that point they would want to see a lot more come E3 than just a title screen. So that would be my only justification on why they would even say anything about it there. But again, I believe you said it was Aaron Greenberg said, don't expect it to be like an E3 caliber show. Definitely. I don't want to get my expectations so high to where it just ruins the show just because I didn't see what I wanted to see. Cause I'm a big Fable lover. I would just love for him to do something just to let us know. Cause like you said earlier, it's the biggest, worst kept secret in video games right now that this game's being created.
Absolutely. And I do think we'll see obviously some stuff there. Again, I've heard teases of Age of Empires 4, which I am definitely looking forward to. I know it's not everybody's taste, but that's a pretty big game for them going forward. Fable, again, tough call. I'm not really seeing it. Shock, what are your thoughts? Do you think we'll see something like a Fable? Do you like Fable at all?
I don't think I've actually played any of the old Fable games. I think it was hyped for the first one way back in the day, and then I think it was getting delayed. I think it was originally called Project Ego on Xbox, if I'm mistaken. And then it just and then it finally came out later, I think in Xbox's life. And I just never got around to it. Wanted to play them in the second one because I heard good things, but I think they could give a tease for it. Although you would have thought they would have done that at E3 if that's what they were doing, but maybe they're doing the whole Rod thing and just stretching it out.
Maybe anything's possible. I mean, it is set again, the setting for it is kind of interesting, but I don't know. Do you think it would be a possibility that it could show up, or would they rather save it for next E3 when they have a huge Scarlet blowout?
Yeah, I could see that. I think it might be more so now with Phil and Matt Booty. I think they're just letting the studios let them know when they're ready, rather than pushing them. Hey, you need to meet this deadline because we have nothing else, so you have to meet it. Where they were showing stuff too early before, and like Crackdown, and it just wasn't ready. So I think they're giving a lot more freedom and independence to the studios to let them show their game when they think it's ready, rather than forcing it. If it's not ready, it's not ready.
Absolutely. And I like that philosophy. It's just I think people are just really chomping at the bits to, see what they've been cooking. Everybody's been saying, one of the worst kept secrets in the industry. And people are just excited. People want to see the new stuff, right? And the return of the classics. Fable is something that we should have had by now, at least one game, but as everybody knows, just
I think
didn't happen.
from what I heard too, like I think that Fable, when it does come and it gets announced, I think it's going to be really impressive. And then, you're gonna add to Coalition that looks like they're gonna have a big hit. Uh, Halo, which is looking like is going to be looking really great. But yeah, the talent that I've heard and the things that I've been hearing is that Playgrounds, they're no joke either. So that's another big studio making another big game. A lot of people say, hey, Halo, Gears, Forza. You might have to say Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable, and say another bunch of 3 other games, because I like I said, I do think that Fable is going to be a showstopper, and like I said, I think it's going to be announced next year E3. They close it. If they close the show at E3, I think that it'd be a big thing. But this XO, we talked about. It's you should be excited, and I'm glad Xbox is having a show. A lot of people are winding down. Sony just canceled the Tokyo Game Show. Most of their games were announced in 2016 and early 2017. That some of them aren't even out or have release dates. So Xbox, from all the crap that it gets, really seems to be. I do feel like they might be hitting that curve right now, and it's all going to be uphill from now or whatever. It's going to start rolling for them because it's just a matter of it's a numbers game. They got too many people making games. They got too many people invested, and I'm excited.
Yep. No, me too. Me too. And I'm sure everybody on the panel is as well. And, we'll get more teases as time goes on. It's only, 2 months away. So lots of time. But moving on, guys, to our next topic. And pretty big, shocking thing happened. About a week or so ago, Sony dropped a very big announcement that they purchased Insomniac Games. And of course, Insomniac is very well known. They're a very well-known studio, creating games like Spyro, Ratchet and Clank, Resistance, and most recently the highly acclaimed Spider-Man. They released games on PlayStation mostly, but in recent years they did release games on Xbox, games like Fuse and the exclusive Sunset Overdrive. Now, panel, how do you feel about this? Is this a goodbye by Sony? Will we ever see Sunset Overdrive make its way to PlayStation, do you think? To me, this is a very, very big purchase. Let's start with Tim. How do you feel about this? Was this a goodbye for Sony?
Yeah, huge buy, great buy, and it was a smart buy. It was a big deal, and they secured it. And listen, when you have a game that sells 14 million like Spider-Man, you can't, it's a match made in heaven. So congrats to them. They got a bunch of studios over there that's very impressive.
Absolutely. Shock. I don't know if you've played any Insomniac games or Sunset Overdrive for that matter. I was really into the game. Do you think that this was a good buy by Sony to pick up Insomniac?
Yeah, I think it was probably pretty good for them to lock down. Also, which you saw them doing with Death Stranding, even though they're not first party at this time. But once you become part of first party, they can allow you to use a lot more resources, which can really help the studio out and give them more just tools to work with. Once you're in that cohesive group where you're sharing information with other studios, you kind of see that boost, which I think you're seeing with some of the Xbox's studios. Some of these new studios coming in, now they're part of that group. Now you have like Coalition, other ones like mingling and helping out, like Ninja Theory, and all acting as a team, versus just being by themselves. So I think it just makes strengthens their first party even more. But I don't think it was as big of a splash as, say, like grabbing Ninja Theory, which was making some exclusives and was more looked out as like more towards the Sony side, whereas like Insomniac's been kind of like adding Playground to Xbox. It was like, okay, yeah, you saw that one coming. Didn't really shock you when it happened.
Yeah,
big for them.
yeah, no, it is big. You're right. It's not shocking. Just I remember a few years ago they were, how do I put it? They were really kind of keen on being independent. They wanted to own their IP, and I think, well, from what I understand, if I remember correctly, they were a bit burned by Sony in the past, kind of a way, and it's just interesting. It's amazing how time heals everything and how things change. And they go for, you look at Spider-Man, selling 14 million copies. That's mind blowing. And it does make a lot of sense for them. They're very friendly with Sony. They have they're really pushing VR now. They have, was it Stormlands coming out? And Ratchet and Clank did very well for them as well. And yeah, they just, them and Sony just go together pretty well. So it makes sense to me. Just they made some comments recently in recent years that, well, kind of made me wonder at first how their relationship was, but obviously it's pretty darn good. Centurion, how do you feel about this buy? Do you think we'll be seeing Sunset Overdrive 2 on there?
That would definitely be a huge kind of a very big blow if by some chance they start working on Sunset Overdrive 2. Now the question is, would they make it PlayStation exclusive, or would they by some chance want to tap into the market that's already been established with Sunset Overdrive and get some money going on over on the Xbox side as well? But I don't really see them trying to go multi-plat at all. But like Shockley said, it was, what were you going to say, Megatron?
It would make sense to me why they would allow it. I mean, but they actually own that IP, right? Microsoft doesn't?
Yeah, they own the IP. I've heard rumors that they've even got the script already ready for Sunset Overdrive 2, and that they were looking for a publisher. It would definitely be a major blow for Xbox if all of a sudden they come out with Sunset Overdrive 2. Now, would Sony want to be petty and keep it exclusive to their platform? Or would Sony be like, hey, if they're going to try making money off our platform by having like titles like The Outer Worlds and a couple other.
He just kind of faded out. Petty or not, I mean, it's up to Sony, I guess. If they own the IP, I mean, I think it's a match made in heaven. Look at, like you guys pretty much said it already. Look what they did with Spider-Man, and it's good. I mean, I've spoken to Ted Price several times, in our most favorite spot, the food court over at E3, 2 years in a row. And, he wanted the game made, and the phone wasn't ringing apparently. And I guess Microsoft had their reasons, Sony had their reasons, and now they are signed with Sony. And it wouldn't surprise me if it was be a game that's exclusive to the PlayStation now. I have not, I have to admit. What was that?
Oh, no. Well, I was going to just mention, it was, people were saying that that they were like, oh, Sunset Overdrive, they'll just release a definitive edition on PlayStation 4, like the original. And then Insomniac kind of came out and said, well, we own the IP, but the rights,
the publishing rights,
first, or they said the first one, that's all Xbox exclusive.
Okay. Yeah, Ori, so by the way,
I don't know why they said that if it would over the PlayStation, but
can you hear me now?
Xbox, yeah, we can hear you. Xbox does own Ori 1 and 2.
There you go. That's good. Yeah, no, it's just a very interesting situation because Microsoft had pumped a lot of money into funding and marketing Sunset Overdrive. Like that was a big game for them going forward. And I can just imagine that if the beginning of this generation had gone their way, that might have been a very successful IP. I know that I was really into it. Like as soon as I first saw it, even the first trailer, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of good. This is different. This is kind of cool. And it's definitely an Insomniac game. Who would have thought that Microsoft and Insomniac would have been working together? Yeah. But you know what? I played it. One of my favorite games this gen. honestly. And if it happens to go on PlayStation, I'll definitely support a Sunset Overdrive 2 because that is, I don't know, I just found it such a fun game, and I like the world, beautiful, gorgeous colors, and fun weapons, and just very ridiculous. I don't know. I just like it. I think this is a good buy by Sony, and
See, on to what you were saying about, for starters, it was, business as usual when Sony picked up at Insomniac. I'm pretty sure there was people at Insomniac that thought Sony already owned them. But now, oh my gosh, where was I going with this thought? I heard a rumor that Sunset Overdrive was only sold 2 million copies. At least that's what I did a little bit of reading, that Sunset Overdrive only sold 2 million copies. And so, it was a big shock that, at the beginning of this generation, we saw Insomniac working together with Xbox and trying to create a game. And maybe that was them dipping their toe into the pool of trying to go multiplat. And that's when they came out and said, yeah, we're okay. We want to kind of do our own thing, but it failed. And so fast forward to today, when Sony probably made them an offer, they probably thought back on that whole attempt on trying to go multi-plat. And so they were like, you know what? Let's just let this happen because we tried going multi-plat and it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I would argue it was even EA that soured them at first with Fuse, because Fuse didn't do that well at all, from what I remember.
Actually, I forgot about that one.
I didn't play Fuse. What's that about? What is Fuse about?
Isn't it like where the dude ran around and had to get like the drug to keep going?
No, I think that's Haze, I think. If I'm not
Haze.
mistaken.
Yeah, you're right. That was Haze. Never mind. I don't know.
Well, it was like a third-person shooter, kind of. I forget the exact story of it. I remember playing a demo, and I was just like, I don't know. This doesn't really feel like an Insomniac game. I might give it another go, but I don't know. It just didn't really. I don't know. It wasn't marketed very well, from what I could tell, and I don't think that they're very happy with EA the way things went. Then they went to Microsoft, and obviously they're back with Sony now, and it's official, their relationship. So, I wish the best to Insomniac. They're a very talented studio, and hey, I'm hoping for a Sunset Overdrive 2 either way. Now, in the chat, guys, how would you feel about a Sunset Overdrive 2 on PlayStation? Would you play that? Definitely let us know. Anybody else have anything to add to this, or can we move on?
PlayStation sucks!
Oh my god.
Xbox
Gears for
Lizard.
the win, baby.
Xbox Lizard at it again.
Tim is a beast.
No, he's a beast
Bright
fire.
news this week.
I'm getting yelled at.
Telltale.
All right, guys.
Coming back possibly.
Well, we'll move on to possibly our last topic of the night, and it's also about studios, studio acquisitions. Now, since we're on this topic of the purchases, there's been rumors flying about of a very Xbox-friendly studio now also getting bought up by Sony. Remedy, creators of Max Payne, Alan Wake, and Quantum Break, and the recently released Control have been heavily rumored to be eyed by Sony. Guerrilla Games congratulated Remedy over Twitter, posting a picture of Control-related swag and comments from Remedy thanking Guerrilla for help along the way. Now, normally, I wouldn't read too much into that, but back in May, Sony Studios president Shu Yoshida visited the studio personally, and that does raise a few eyebrows for me. Now, panel members, how do you take this? Do you think Sony is eyeing this Xbox-friendly studio for acquisition?
Sounds like it. People are selling stocks and paying people a visit. I mean, I guess is it?
Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't read into things so much, but I mean, there's a lot of things here that just kind of add up.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that I heard was Yoshida was supposedly at their studio several times. That was the first thing. Then you heard like a bunch of guys selling off stocks. You look at some of the tweets from like Thomas RMD, and you look at some of the stuff from these studios, a little teasing there. It could be just an exclusive game that comes. Like they could basically have flipped positions where the remedy of Xbox is now the remedy of Sony, but they still are independent. So I think that's still possible. It's either that or it's they're going to get purchased. Which if they get purchased, Sony is pretty set if that's the case. I don't think that they would really have to do much more.
Now, didn't they real quick? Didn't they also say that they wanted to stay independent for a while? Wasn't that a rumor
so
too?
So did Insomniac. They all say that.
Money talks, boy.
It's more money talks, but it's also it's like you look at like an Exile, and you look at some of the studios that like Double Fine, some of the stuff that they've said. Mm-hmm. Basically, you get signed by a Microsoft or a Sony. You don't have to worry about funding. You don't have to worry about any of the financial stuff anymore. It's just about making games. And, for a studio like Remedy, where they've kind of never really had that hit. I mean, Alan Wake was, it sold 4 million, but it didn't really go as planned. I don't think it sold as much as they would have liked at the beginning. I think as time went on, it went well. Quantum Break, even though our friend Aaron Greenberg said met expectations, like I told him, I said if it met expectations, you'd have a sequel. And the bottom line was Quantum Break had it didn't do what it was supposed to do. And it seems like Control is not really doing the best that it should do. Like, it's not like, it's not selling like crazy. So you look at that and you take that all in, and then you put yourself in this studio situation with Remedy, and they could say, well, hey, let's just, we'll go on to Sony's backing. We could strictly, focus on making games. We don't have to worry about funding, and we can, probably get more developers and support from Sony, because obviously Sony's like Microsoft. They're going to help these developers. They're going to make them get bigger. They're going to hire, and they're going to grow them, and they're going to make them better. So it's I think it's 50-50. I think it's either they're going to an exclusive agreement or they're going to be purchased. And if they are purchased, I do think that would be Sony. Might have another one after that, maybe Supermassive, or it might not be on the same caliber. But listen, if they get Remedy, they have Naughty Dog, Guerrilla, Polynifity,
Sony Bend,
Insomniac, Sucker Punks, God of War Studio. It's just
Santa Monica.
You're talking about like 8 studios that are making blockbuster triple A's. Yeah. It's gonna put Microsoft in a tough position again, and reverting back. That's why I say things like maybe make Xbox Live open and stuff like that. They have to explore those things, because when they bought all those studios, believe me, Sony's very competitive, and Sony said, you know what? We got to compete with this now. We got to put our money, because this is our bread. This is our bread and money. This is our livelihood. This is what makes Sony. That's the biggest part of their company now. So they're all in, and that's the great thing for Sony.
It shines a positive light. I mean, you can't deny it. The only way that Microsoft can come out of this, Phil, is if you go ahead and grab Bungie, and then that'll just
that would be something that I would imagine they did that. But what was that?
I'm going to beat that drum till the end.
Like you said, they already are now friendlier. You saw them at XO, and that was a little cool thing. But there's still a lot of friends there, and there's still a lot of connections. So who knows? That would be something that Microsoft would need to, combat with.
Something of that caliber.
Yeah.
So.
It's just I would have liked to see Microsoft be competitive to try and get Remedy. They're obviously they have some kind of relationship, or had. Phil was tweeting about congratulating Remedy with Control, and
Mhm.
I tweeted back at him, please make a Quantum Break too. I mean, in a way, I was kind of half kidding, but at the same time, I did really like the game. It was different. I really liked what they were doing with it. I just wanted more of it, and I mean, they do own the IP after all, but it's just I would hate to see such a talented studio like that was friendly with Microsoft that would be very useful for them to have and add to their portfolio. Their stable of studios just get swept up like that. They
Originally, I wanted to say like maybe they're just gonna make a game specifically for Sony, like they would do that. But then once I saw like the selling of the stocks and stuff, I'm like, man, that's just not a good sign. Like, I mean, not a good sign is a sense of like, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I'm just saying it just more leans towards some type of acquisition by who, it's rumored to be Sony, but who knows? I'm sorry for cutting you off, Invader. It's just
no, you
uh-huh.
didn't. Go right ahead.
Mhm. No, it's just that's it. I mean, I would think, like I said, I was just thinking initially it was going to be a game, specifically for Sony, like just exclusive for them, no other platform, just like what Insomniac did with Sunset Overdrive. But like I said, we'll eventually find out. It's looking like sooner than later. So probably around XO. I mean, when the best time probably to announce something like that would be when Microsoft's doing their thing over in London. So. I mean, I would guess around that time to drop some type of news like that would be big.
Well, we saw Microsoft.
Timing is everything.
Microsoft gave away the publishing rights to Alan Wake back to Remedy, so that's back in their court as well. So I mean, we could even potentially see Alan Wake go exclusive on a different platform.
That'd be a kick in the balls.
Yeah, they invested a lot in Alan Wake.
I'm feeling a little something right now too, like a little tingling.
But
it's the way things are going. I think in the whole realm of this, it's very good for the industry. These console makers, hopefully they make another console after the consoles that they're making now. And they build these studios because when these studios come, like you look at what's the one that's making Wastelands 3?
In Exile.
In Exile. Now that studio, from what they made, the game that they had when they didn't have support to the game that they just showed at XO, has been completely night and day. People were saying it showed real well off, and that's the type of thing that you're going to start to see. I think what Matt Booty wants and Xbox wants is they want a lot of studios making multiple games, or some making multiple games, but not all the size of Coalition or Rare, which is at 300, but maybe the size of Ninja Theory at 150, and they'll make their games in a AAA scope, kind of like what Hellblade did. A small developer that can make a game in a AAA. I think that's their goal, because they can help them with a couple of things. They can help them with funding, obviously. They can help them with technology. That I think that they're going to share a lot of their engines together. I think that's something that they're looking to do, and they're going to have support, whether it's multiplayer or whatever support that they have. Microsoft is looking to be that guy that helps the developer and embolden them. From what I heard, and I think that Rod Ferguson said it, Phil's hands off with this stuff. He's saying that he's letting these developers make the games within their division, within their vision. So if he wanted to take it some way, like a horror flick or whatever, he had he had an open ticket to do it. And I think that's a good way to do the studios, as opposed to what they used to be, where they were all hands on and, hurt a lot of the studios, or turned off a lot of studios. Bungie, case in point. pushing on them. Let them have their creative freedom and be the guy that can help and embolden them, be the guy that can give them support, be the guy that can, hey, I need 50 more developers to be contracted out to help with this and this and that, and to make the best games possible and possibly make them, more AAA scope than double A. You know what I mean? So it's going to be very interesting. I do think that that both Microsoft and Sony are going to really have killer gens next year. Next gen, I really feel, is going to be very strong.
Yeah, definitely. Centurion, how do you feel about this? Do you see Remedy getting acquired by Sony, or is it just a close relationship, like maybe an exclusive game in the future or content?
To be absolutely honest, I'm a little worried that they're probably going to be acquired by Sony because, like Megatron said, the selling of the stocks. The two guys in question that I remember hearing about, they made a lot of money selling off their stocks to that company. So definitely there's a lot of signs that are pointing to being acquired by them. And wouldn't that be just like Tim Dog said, a major kick in the balls? All of a sudden we got Sunset Overdrive 2 on the PlayStation and Alan Wake 2 on the PlayStation. It's just like they're just going to claim all the sequels that everybody... Yeah, I can hear you. But yeah, they're going to claim all the sequels that everybody has been asking for, and they're going to make them over there. That would definitely be excuse the expression, a giant FU from Sony. That, if you guys ain't going to make your sequels, we'll just acquire those companies and make them for you.
Well, doing that.
To be fair, it is a giant studio arms race right now. I mean, obviously, Microsoft picking up like 7-8 studios in like the past year is major. You got everybody's buying studios these days. I mean, obviously, Insomniac was bought. You got THQ getting Gunfire Games, Studio Warhorse with Deep Silver. Like, there's all kinds of studios being purchased right now.
I'm seeing. I made a joke saying you got Nintendo, you got PlayStation, and you got Xbox all sitting at a table. Pretty soon, you're going to have Amazon and Google there, and they're going to be throwing these game studios down like Pokemon cards.
Nintendo's like acquiring anybody, though. I wonder. That would be a shakeup if Nintendo acquired somebody. They probably don't need to, but
not right now. But the minute they start seeing all these studios getting bought up like crazy,
or something like that, I can see that.
You never know. It like all of a sudden, it seems like studio purchasing is going to start becoming a fad.
Yeah,
I
agree. I think that we're going into a different time. I wonder if Stadia also. Listen. We talk about Xbox, we talk about PlayStation, we talk about Nintendo. Stadia is, I hate to say it, they are really, I think they're in trouble. They themselves kind of have to, I believe they have to make some exclusive content themselves. They're off to a rough start, it sounds like. It sounds like their messaging is pretty crappy, and I heard that they had some problems where they were speaking to some of the people, or they were rude to them. Reddit had a whole thing on it. But yeah, Stadia is another one. How the stupid name Google made up. They should possibly be in this arms race too. Like they're probably going to be right there too. Well, they have to do something because. I mean, when you have xCloud and you're going to have Sony have their own cloud equivalent. Really, what is Google going to do that offers, they got to have some type of exclusive content is my point. You just can't compete with these guys without having nothing.
Well, just to point out.
That's why you haven't heard of anything from Microsoft with xCloud like lately after E3. Like, I think they're watching Google really closely of like, what are they screwing up? Let's like.
Did they do their pricing yet? Wait a minute. I don't remember. Did Stadia do their pricing already?
It's $139 for like a Google Chromecast. It's so stupid.
Wait, we can.
It's also a subscription. That's just to get started.
Right, you get the controller, you get the Google Chromecast, and you get 3 months, I believe, of premium. And then that's what you got.
And
Yeah.
Megatron, they charge you based on resolution. So if you want like, just bottom of the barrel resolution, you get this really nice price. But if you want some 4K, they're going to charge accordingly based on resolution. But onto this whole conversation of studios, everybody's talking about Remedy all of a sudden, getting buddy with Sony over there. Let's talk about also kind of something that happened at Gamescom that a lot of people are really hush about. As soon as Bungie gets out from underneath the thumb of Activision, the first thing they do is they're on an Xbox stage. So it's almost like all of a sudden is Bungie gonna come home and basically get yeah, like are they gonna all of a sudden start trying to like get buddy with Xbox again because they showed them more? Because it's just like, hey, you went over to that bridge thinking that the grass was greener on the other side. Now all of a sudden you're wanting to come back.
Listen, the hair on my toes are braiding themselves with excitement right now. Hey, hey, man, who knows?
Dude, would that be like, all right, yeah, Sony, you got Remedy, but did we mention we got Bungie? Did we just bought Bungie?
That is a dream for Mr. Megatron. I would love to see it come true.
That'd be great.
It would be cool.
Can you imagine having both Halo and Destiny under the same roof?
Yeah, well, somebody brought that up though. If they did, I think they would keep Destiny multiplat though.
It'd be a multiplat. I think it would be multiplat too.
Yeah, it would just be weird, like though Bungie not working on Halo. I mean,
yeah, and plus you would think that like let's say Halo Infinite again is kind of lackluster and people are still complaining and they didn't like the story. That there'd be something there. That's one of the problems with I think that acquisition. I do think that if they do get an acquisition, it would be a Japanese studio, and they. I personally think that they might build another studio again, or I've heard two studios from numerous people, pretty good sources, that they're looking at or they're trying to get. Clobrel made a tweet, and Clobrel, if you don't know, he's uncovered a lot of leaks. He was the first guy to mention Obsidian. He was way before anybody. He teased Double Fine. He obviously supposedly has access to an Xbox API. I don't know how he does, but I don't know the whole situation, but he has some type of inside information that he somehow gets. And he's, like I said, he's a bona fide insider that knows what he's talking about. So when he says things like, there's definitely one, maybe two, and he comes out with a tweet like that, something's up. He, like I said, he knew when the letter of intent was signed with Double Fine. He also knew when the letter of intent was signed with Obsidian. So he, like I said, he knows things. There's no mystery with that. He definitely knows stuff, and I've heard from other people too that there's two studios, and I know Phil said publicly that he wants a Japanese studio, because he wants to have that global representation.
Platinum Games.
That'd be great, but I don't know. You never know.
All right, guys, we're gonna just head out soon. But Eric Shockley, how do you feel about this? Do you think that Remedy are getting like a little too close with Sony now? Do you think that they're gonna be bought by Sony or maybe somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, I could see Sony doing it. Although Sony doesn't tend to do it like that. They rarely do it. Like every few years, they might add somebody into the fold that they've worked with long time, like Gorilla, and how they did it with I forget the other one, Sucker Punch. But yeah, I mean, I think as a gamer, I think that would be good if Remedy did, because even though I liked Alan Wake and I was starting to get into some Quantum Break, it seems like they haven't made like a game that's been like that, like big hit like they had with like Max Payne back in the day. I think you saw Control. I think it was, slipping, or at least the PS4 version review wise was like almost slipping to like the 80 or 81. I think more of a focus with going in house with Sony could definitely make up their quality. So I think as a gamer getting games from Remedy, that could be a plus. And at this point, I think Microsoft has all the studios they need. Maybe they could add like a Japanese one that's gives them kind of a different, flavor to what they already have. Adding Remedy, they already kind of have like studios like Ninja Theory and Obsidian. They don't really need. I don't think adding Remedy is really going to be a huge thing to them. Whereas adding or building a new Japanese studio would definitely be a bigger focus, or it should be a bigger focus for them. I feel.
Hmm.
But,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
hopefully they do. I think it'll be awesome to see them get more of a big boost in funding and budget to really maybe up their quality.
Yeah, and you know what? I love Remedy's storytelling. I think they're pretty unique with what they do, and I would love to see another Alan Wake. I've been waiting and waiting, and I do. Yeah, I just generally like the studio. So, here's hoping that we get to play more Remedy on Xbox, and we'll see what happens going forward. But with that, guys, and all that said, it's time to end the show. And honestly, a big thank you to all the people in the chat that came to listen to us live. We absolutely love the support from all of you that tuned in. Magnetic Storm, Mr. Kima, Other Zinc, Abacab, Stinking Corpse, Native, Shizno Elite, Siberia, Michael Monkey Punch. Thank you guys, and everyone who's listening in. You guys rock, and we really appreciate the love that you show the show. And definitely let us know how you like the stream. We're on StreamYard right now, just kind of testing it out. Everything seems pretty good, but let us know in the comments how it is. And we're trying some other stuff as well. But hey, leave feedback in the comments and let us know. But on to the outros. Tim, where can these fine individuals find you at?
You guys can find me on Twitter, xCloud TimDog. I also do another podcast Tuesday nights, RDX, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pretty much that's it. I'm on Twitter. You can hit me up. I pretty much answer everyone who hits me up on Twitter. I'm always talking 99% Xbox. I talk some sports subs here and there, some MMA stuff. But, thanks everyone on the panel for showing up today. I'm glad that TXR is back. It's nice to be on a show Sunday night, late night, where, we can be a little long-winded and, take it back, like you say, just kick back and, just do our thing. And then I think TXR, that's what it's always been about. So, happy that we're back, and see you here next Sunday. I will be here as well as the rest of the panel. Thank you very much, and let's go.
Nice words, my friend. Megatron, where can these Xbox gaming fanatics follow you?
Hit me up on Xbox as usual. If you see me on Megatron 1's my gamer tag, hit me up. We can play some games. I'm gonna jump into this Madame, how do you pronounce it? Man of Madame, or whatever how it's called. I'm going to be playing that, and that's a co-op too. I'm hearing as well. I'm going to be playing that, and you can also find me on Twitter, Megatron_1975, and it was awesome being back on TXR. We had took a hiatus, but we're back, and gears are turning. It was awesome. Also hanging with the two panel members that we have, the new guys, and it's just great. I'm happy, and hit me up anytime you guys want.
Awesome. Yeah, and now talking about our two new members, Shock. Again, it's been awesome having you on the show for first as an official panel member. Where can everybody follow you at?
Yeah, thanks for having me. You can find me at Shock Nero on Twitter, and Easy Shock is my Xbox handle as well, gamer tag.
Fantastic, fantastic. Centurion, again, thank you very much. And we're happy to have you on as a panel member. Love your opinions. Where can all these fine people follow your content?
Well, for starters, thank you once again for inviting me to be part of this. It's actually nice to have a podcast to kind of soak up Sunday night. But you can also find me Thursday nights on Saltiest Gaming Podcast, Saturday nights on the Shop Podcast. You can also find me running around on Twitter and YouTube at Centurion1307. And I also happen to just have a blog site called legionofgamer.com that I add content to here and there.
All right, fantastic. Everybody check that out. And of course, you can follow me on YouTube at Invader Gaming. And I'm definitely active on Twitter at Invader_1986. It's been one heck of a show, guys, and we're definitely looking forward to next Sunday. Bye, everyone, and good night.
Later.
Later.
Later.